Good afternoon, everyone. Hope things are well. The Italy bucket hat is well and truly out. And you can already tell why this is out, judging from my title and thumbnail. But we'll talk about Lloyd Kelly shortly. First off, we can't deny it. Yesterday was bad. Bournemouth was bad. But to be fair, I think Rob makes quite a good point here. I would much rather have Newcastle have a stinky performance now against Bournemouth than, for example, against Arsenal in the second leg at St James's Park. Let's get the bad performance out of the way. Let's reflect. Eddie Howe, again, he'll sit down with the players and he'll sort them out. And we are fortunate enough where it's Southampton next week, the worst team in the league. So Newcastle have got a good team to then come back out against and just to reset and to go on again. But firstly, from me, if you guys are new around here, make sure you get down there, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any mental transfer news, because this transfer would completely change things for Newcastle in this window now. We've stated it all window long. It is always a case where Newcastle will sell first before they buy. We already know of Almiron. It's likely he's done. We aren't expecting to play against Southampton. Perhaps it might get dragged out for a little bit longer, but it's believed that yesterday was in fact his last game, even though he didn't play. Yesterday was his last potential appearance he could have made for Newcastle before going back to Atlanta United. In the region, so you're talking about 10 to 12 million pounds, which I have to say for a 31-year-old is a good deal. Now, speaking of good deals, I think Newcastle can get a second good deal here, according to Fabrizio Romano. As he stated, Lloyd Kelly, Juventus want Lloyd Kelly, and they've actually put in a €13 million bid, which has been rejected. But it's now believed that Juventus will come back in again with €15 million in an attempt to bring in what is a free agent from Newcastle now. Now, the thing is with Lloyd Kelly, now, I said it in my last video talking about Lloyd Kelly. I actually rate him a bit. I know he hasn't been good for Newcastle. We'll talk about how he's been for the club so far. But as a 26-year-old English centre-half, I do rate him, and I think he has value as a player. Now, even though Lloyd Kelly, yes, was a free sign for Newcastle, I still think this guy is worth a good amount of money. I still believe, which we've already seen with Juventus putting in well over £10 million for him, that teams will pay money for someone like Lloyd Kelly, and Newcastle so far rejected €13 million. €15 million, so you're talking in the region of probably about £13 to £14 million then. Is that still the kind of money Newcastle should accept for Lloyd Kelly? Now, for me, I still think we can get a little bit more. I am starting to lean towards letting them go, but I reckon Newcastle could sneak a little bit more money out of Juventus for him. I think he perhaps is worth a little bit more. Now, the thing is with Lloyd Kelly this season, it just hasn't worked out. I don't know what's happened to Lloyd Kelly. He was our big signing from the summer window. He's been on the bench a lot, and when he does get appearances, he doesn't suit the way Newcastle plays. He's not comfortable on the ball. His long passing's bad. When he's just trying to play around, I think he's horrendous as a left-back, by the way. He just does not work as a left-back at all, in my opinion. Centre-half, he's better, but again, in centre-half, Newcastle just have much better options, and Lloyd Kelly so far just hasn't clicked. It just hasn't clicked for other reasons. So Newcastle now have the potential opportunity where, despite it only being 6 months, they can already let him go. They can let him go to Juventus, which would be quite a good transfer for him at a personal level. Now, the second issue with Lloyd Kelly's being the wage. Now, again, I've been personally adamant that he is not on 150 grand a week, but even if he's on anything over 100,000 a week, he's still one of Newcastle's highest earners in wages. So it's not just selling Lloyd Kelly for €15 million. You're talking wages. I mean, if Lloyd Kelly just sees out his entire 5-year contract in Newcastle, if it was 150 grand a week, that's actually £39 million we are paying Lloyd Kelly. £39 million in wages we would be giving Lloyd Kelly if the wages are actually accurate, which again, I don't personally believe that it is 150 grand a week, but anything over 100,000 is just a lot of money. So for Newcastle, you're not just selling them for €15 million, you're also getting the wages off the bill, which, if anything like that's possibly true, then that's so much money. So again, with Newcastle, this is a potential transfer I think we should be looking at. I really think we should be potentially letting this guy go. Again, I must say, if Lloyd Kelly wants to stay, if Eddie Howe wants Lloyd Kelly to stay, then by all means do it. But there's good money available for this guy, and if we were to sell Lloyd Kelly and Miggy in this window, it would probably allow Newcastle to buy without any of this PSR rubbish coming into play in the summer. this would be two good player sales. Again, Lloyd Kelly's a free sign, so he's technically, but he would be full profit because we haven't spent any money on him. So that's the first thing. Again, Miggy, as I said before, that's a good sale for the age that he is now. And that's a lot of money there where Newcastle, I think, could probably buy someone with the money we've got from them too. You got to remember, £70 million, Martin Gay, that was money that Newcastle was putting down in the table. So that money's came from somewhere. Newcastle definitely has money there. Newcastle, I feel like, has been hesitant. They've been almost trying to ride the storm out into the summer. And yes, there is potential evidence to suggest that Newcastle can't ride that storm out because we need squad depth. And I think we've seen a bit of that yesterday because no Wilson, no Barnes in the bench. What did Newcastle have in that second half to bring on against Bournemouth? Zilch, nada, nothing. We had absolutely nothing to bring on against Bournemouth. And albeit it wasn't Wilson and Barnes' fault that we lost because we were bad on the pitch, but we needed options on the bench. Anyhow, I felt like it could have worked the game a lot better with two strikers, and we just didn't have that second striker. Usula is still believed to not be ready yet, hence why he barely played yesterday. And Newcastle were just a bit short-sighted in front of goal. We didn't create anything, and there was nothing on the bench to come on and to help us create something. So that was a real issue for us yesterday. And I feel like especially in the back end of this season when suspensions will arise, injuries will arise, and Newcastle are playing in big cup games, playing in big league matches, we need the firepower there, and we didn't have it yesterday. Now, again, our performance wasn't good, but I felt like that bench yesterday really didn't help us out. We could have had a much better bench yesterday if, of course, injuries had went our way. And that's a difference maker for Newcastle. That was a difference maker for us. So, in my personal opinion, when we got opportunity to do so now, I think selling Lloyd Kelly is an avenue we should definitely be trying to go down. I know he's barely been at the club, but again, he just hasn't worked out. It just hasn't worked out at all. So when you got an opportunity, a massive club like Juventus want to sign him, you're talking £15+ million for him, not to mention the added addition in wages as well that we're going to lose. That's a lot of money Newcastle can work with, and I think we can sell him on for a massive profit. And even though it's not a transfer that's necessarily worked out, I would still argue it's a fantastic transfer for Newcastle because especially you've essentially got to be making like £15 to £20 million to somebody that we had only just signed 6 months ago. So that's a lot of money for us. And I think we probably should sell Kelly, even though, again, it's perhaps a bit harsh to the player. But if a transfer doesn't work out, I think we need to be a bit ruthless. I think we do. If Newcastle want to get Champions League football, if we want to potentially win trophies this season, yes, we won the last 9 games in a row, but we can still make that squad better. And if that sale gets Newcastle a potential winger in or potentially gets us a second striker in, then I feel like we should go down this route. I think we should let Lloyd Kelly go. And it's a bit, again, I will say it's a bit harsh, but I think we do have to be ruthless towards him. And we've got a potential opportunity to make a massive sale here. So I think it's exciting, to be fair, considering how unexciting our window has been. This is quite an exciting prospect and a lot of money up for grabs for Newcastle. So I think we should go down this route. We haven't sold the Bradgar. That's potential money we're going to lose if he goes on a free in the summer. Again, Miggy's going to be going. Newcastle needs some player sales from somewhere ahead of the window. So one available here. If it's any good deals for Juventus, let's just get this one done. I think anything over £15 million, we 100% should be looking at. But we'll see what happens first. Newcastle, I feel like for now, should just try and get a little bit more money out of Juventus. I think we can sell him for more. Juve are clearly interested in the player. So let's just get some add-ons in there, whether that be a sell-on clause. Let's just get more money out of this deal somehow. Let's try and maximise this sale as much as possible. For me, in my opinion, if I was part of the public investment fund, we should be looking to try and maximise a sale like this. And we'll see what Newcastle United does. I wouldn't be surprised, I will say straight away, I wouldn't be surprised if Newcastle rejects this deal and all of a sudden we don't bother selling, because Eddie Howe was very vocal in his last press conference. He said that Lloyd Kelly doesn't want to leave. We want him here as a part of the football club. But again, I'm intrigued to see what the club does, because I don't always feel like Eddie Howe will have full control in the matter. Paul Mitchell, of course, above him, and the public investment fund will probably have quite a big say in it. So, again, I wouldn't be surprised what way this goes, but don't expect it to be 100% done and don't expect it to be 100% stay. I definitely feel like there's going to be a massive in-house discussion about this one, because I think this is a big deal for Newcastle. Again, I've said it a couple of times, but we should be looking at getting this done. I'll be having the Italy bucket hat on. But yeah, it's harsh. Lloyd Kelly seems like a sound bloke, but again, we've got to be harsh. If Newcastle want to get somewhere, we do have to be harsh. So that's my personal take on it. But let me know what you guys think about this one. This is interesting. This is an interesting discussion to have. So let's see how this one turns out. What would you do in this situation? You've got potentially over £15 million for Lloyd Kelly. What would you do? But yeah, let me know down below, guys. Take care. Any updates about this? Of course, we'll come back with another video. But see you all later in a bit.